Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs facing more time behind bars. His release date pushed back to June of 2028 instead of May of that same year.
Everyone already knew Diddy had a dark side, someone who liked to take advantage of people. But if what Jaguar Wright is claiming is real, then we might be looking at a far more disturbing level of behavior than anyone imagined.
No. If that's even possible. Because if he was able to pull this off before he was a billionaire, look at what we got going on now. Derek replies, this is illegal. And Sean Combs, Kim Elworthy are all behind this, and you're going to just sit there and let this happen, Your Honor. And the judge says, gotta pay the bills somehow.
According to Jaguar, Diddy allegedly assaulted a man back in 1997, and the case actually made it to court, but it never reached the public. Why? She says the government buried it to protect him, and that raises major questions. Why would federal authorities shield someone like that? What possible benefit would they get from covering for him? Why were they involved at all? And does this point to the possibility that Diddy was actually working as a federal informant who later went off the rails?
What you do is they want you to hammer me, and they want you to pressure me, and they want you to try to put me in the grinder and see if I'll fall apart. And guess what? Welcome it.
That's what we're diving into today. So buckle up. This one is huge. If these claims are true, they could add years to Diddy's sentence, and Jaguar Wright may be putting her own life on the line just by revealing them. She explained that everything traces back to a case from 1998 that most people have never heard of. She said the paperwork tells the story of a man named Derek Lee Cardello Smith, who she says spent 28 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. According to her, his case was directly linked to Diddy. Derek was listed as the defendant in an assault case involving a man named Carl Bishop. Jaguar showed the table of contents from the case file and highlighted the names involved. But then she dropped an even bigger bombshell. She claimed the file also contained documents naming Diddy as a suspect in a separate incident connected to both Derek and Carl. She said the paperwork included medical records, incident reports, and other documents placing Diddy at the center of serious misconduct.
The incident report identifying Sean Combs as the assault suspect. Well, do you understand what that means?
Hey.
Do you understand what that means? What I'm holding right here in my hand in this device that I uploaded for protection of the records. See, while everybody was busy watching that sham of whatever that was supposed to be to make people think that that guy actually was finally handled up on in some way, shape, or form, God was busy making sure that these very real findings came to me. Do you see what I'm telling you?
No, definitely.
There's a great kick. And the diddler is the assailant. His DNA found inside a man.
Jaguar said the documents indicated that Derek's case involved evidence that was mishandled and that people in powerful positions allegedly knew it. She suggested Derek was blamed for actions he didn't, while the real wrongdoing came from someone with influence and protection.
Derek Cardello Smith said, Your Honor, I want to say this much. My mother is going to have to hear me say lies. And then she's going to think that I'm this type of person that I'm not. I'm not this kind of man that you people are forcing me to be. I want it to be clear that you can say on the record that I am a man who defended a woman and myself, and that I am being framed for multiple crimes that I am innocent of, and you know it, and are still forcing me into this with your full knowledge. Are you man enough to say that on this court record, sir? And the judge's response is, I am more than man enough to say so. Everything you said, I adopt on the record as true. You are not a rapist. You have been framed. And it was all done on our approval, and most especially on the approval of Kim L. Worthy. Are you happy now? Derek responds, hopefully one day this will all come out. The judge says, not today. Take him.
She also said she uploaded all the documents for her own safety in case anything happened to her originals. It's chilling to hear. Derek being framed in broad daylight and the possibility that Diddy was involved the whole time. How was this allowed to happen? And even now, Derek is still fighting to prove his innocence, yet it hasn't changed a thing.
This is illegal. And Sean Combs, Kim L. Worthy are all behind this, and you're going to just sit there and let this happen, Your Honor. And the judge says, gotta pay the bills somehow. And the witness, Kim L. Worthy, says, amen to that.
Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Damn. So, Jack, when you see the words "justice for Diddy," what does justice look like to you?
I don't know if that's even possible. Because if he was able to pull this off before he was a billionaire, look at what we got going on now. See, this is bigger than anything that any of us can talk about. This isn't Detroit. Who would ever think that the Diddler had action where he could move things around like this in Detroit? And we're talking all the way back in the 90s. And every time this man has been about to come up for parole, Kim Worthy goes and gets one of those great kits that she's been holding on to and just throws it on him. And he's back, he gotta stay in jail. You don't remember right after Diddy was taken into custody, that story that came out about the inmate that sued him for $100 million and won on a default judgment? Y'all don't remember hearing about that right after he was arrested?
Yeah, it was so many lawsuits, but yes, that was one of them.
Yeah, but it was the only lawsuit where you had heard somebody had actually won against.
At one point, Jaguar stated plainly that the documents included DNA evidence tying Diddy to the case, and she emphasized that Diddy's name wasn't just buried in the paperwork, he was listed as a responsible party.
He was actually an investor in Bad Boy. And they've been keeping him monkeyed up in jail all of this time, so they ain't gotta pay him.
Hell, I want to know what justice for Derek looks like right now. Jeez. Hell.
He's entitled to 49% of whatever Combs Enterprise has amassed in the past 30 years. Almost 30 years. That's what he's entitled to. He already won a $100 million judgment. See, this is what was going on in the background while whatever that foolishness we just watched was happening. This was all going on in the background. It's starting to make you wonder if that trial happened to cover this up. Everything that they've done to ruin it so people would never believe a word that came out of his mouth. See, when you start here with these transcripts from 1998, which were sealed and then unsealed in 2007 and then sat there in the clerk's office and nobody knew about it because nobody knew to come and get it. Nobody knew where to get it. Different names on the same case number. They thought they were clever.
She then moved on to Diddy's legal team. She claimed that one of his attorneys, Mark Agnifilo, had been connected indirectly to Derek years ago.
Sitting here talking to me about these weird old lawyers, including Mark Agnifilo. You want to know what's funny? While Mark Agnifilo was sitting there making fun of baby oil and doing all of the stuff that he was doing in court and creating all of that nice guy hoopla, trying to get everyone to believe that Diddy is not such a terrible person and now he's a wonderful man and he deserves to go back to Madison Square Garden and he's going to be right there to cheer him on. Do you want to know where else he was? In Wayne County, negotiating with Derek Lee Cordello Smith.
Wow.
His victim.
Wow.
Why would he be in negotiations with him if he actually believed that everything that he said in that courtroom was true?
Sounds like a fixer.
Sounds like a fixer.
She alleged that the same lawyer who now represents Diddy publicly was meeting privately with Derek and also with Diddy under an alias in Wayne County in earlier years.
Diddy went to that jail to visit Derek his damn self in 2024.
Oh, wow.
Guess what name he was using to go to that jail to visit Derek so nobody would know it was him?
John Smith?
Brother Love.
Gosh.
What is clergy?
Damn. This is very wild. What made you?
That's where he went. Just a couple of days before HSI raided all of his properties. What do I think about the powers that be? What you want me to think?
What made you find this rabbit hole to go down, and how many more rabbit holes do you believe there are?
Oh. See, I live in the rabbit hole. I don't believe in what everybody else believes in. I'm telling you something right now. When you got court officials that's sitting in court, they so brazen that they're actually threatening people.
That's very brazen. Do you see how this is going to go?
To Jaguar, this entire situation isn't just about Diddy's current legal troubles. It's about a chain of events spanning decades. So where does this leave Diddy now that these allegations are resurfacing? Well, it looks like the courts may already be weighing whether to lengthen his sentence. According to several reputable outlets,
Sean Diddy Combs facing more time behind bars. His release date pushed back to June of 2028 instead of May of that same year. The news coming after reports of Combs drinking in prison, something he denies, after he was accepted into a rehab program in prison that could have reduced his sentence by up to a year. He's also been accused of making a prohibited three-way phone call from prison.
Diddy has reportedly been making unauthorized phone calls from prison.
Combs' representative Judah Engelmeyer telling me by phone earlier today, Tom, that yes, a three-way call was made between one of Combs' lawyers, who did bring in another person on that call with Combs while he has been at Fort Dix, but that there was nothing improper about about it. But again, that is not something that you were supposed to do at all. So those lawyers should have known better. As for drinking, he doubled down and said that Combs was not drinking and that in fact he's been admitted into this very specialized rehab program that Fort Dix offers is actually going to potentially lower his sentence. Yeah. He could be released earlier because of that. So they're saying he's done nothing wrong and that any reports that he has been drinking is completely not true.
Sarah, you know, after his trial, a lot of people said he got a legal victory. It looked like he was going to be on his way out in a couple of years. How far back does this set him now?
Well, we don't know yet, Tom, because you still have due process rights in prison, right? So there's going to be an incident report if he in fact was drinking or there's an allegation. Then he's going to go to hearing. And if he's found guilty of it, then there's going to be sanctions. The sanctions could be that he could essentially be thrown in the hole, the shoe, the special housing unit. He could lose his privileges and he could lose at least a minimum of 40 days of time credits, which is big. And I want to say this, drinking in a BOP facility is as serious as committing murder in a BOP facility.
Is it really?
Yeah. As of 2020, the BOP changed the rules and reclassified drinking as one of the most severe charges in custody. So this is really serious.
Why would he risk angering judges like that? What could be so urgent that he's willing to break the rules? Is he trying to protect something or someone? Or is he afraid new information could cost him even more?
I don't know to what extent this is sort of this callous sort of thinking on his part, or he just is an addict.
And you were telling me today he's writing a book.
And he's writing a book, which could cause him more problems under the Son of Sam law in New York if he's monetizing on his crime.
This is all absolutely terrible if true. I mean, Combs made such a big deal about wanting to go to Fort Dix. Yeah. He's trying to get out sooner than the 50 months in prison, Tom. The idea that he would be violating rules left and right within 2 weeks of getting there is really unfathomable after, again, listening to him cry and sob in front of the judge just recently saying, I want to do good, I'm sober, and I want to be released to go home to my family. So again, and like you said, President Trump, he doesn't like drinkers, okay? He doesn't drink himself. His brother was an alcoholic, and so he has very strong opinions about that. He's talked about it. And if Diddy's seeking a pardon from President Trump before the new year.
Penalties he could now face include being sent to the special housing unit, also known as the hole, losing various privileges, and forfeiting at least 40 days of time credits, which would push his release date back. What's even more interesting is that Mellis reported Diddy has told he's writing a book, which could trigger issues with New York's Son of Sam law. That law prevents convicted individuals from making money off stories about their crimes.
Did y'all see when they interviewed Dapper Dan about Diddy?
I haven't seen that one. Please.
They ran into Dapper Dan in Harlem and they asked him what he thought about what was going on with Diddy and if he knew Diddy. And I love Dapper Dan for this. He said, I grew up with his parents. He said, and what's going on with him has been going on long before him. Now, his father was a government snitch and a bad actor in the criminal world altogether. But there's whispers in the streets of Harlem that Diddy's mother isn't alive. Not his biological mother, but that woman is his aunt.
Whoa.
There are whispers.
Wait a minute.
There are whispers.
On top of that, Diddy has already burned through a massive amount of money fighting this case and dealing with the fallout. And now it looks like he may have another battle on his hands, this time with his own children. The National Enquirer claims insiders are saying his family is preparing for a fierce fight over his $400 million fortune. Supposedly, his 7 kids have started hiring lawyers because they want control of his estate and are trying to take that power away from his 85-year-old mother, Janice, who is still sharp and strong. Back in March, reports surfaced that the kids were spending freely while Diddy sat inside Brooklyn's notorious Metropolitan Detention Center without bail. With Diddy locked up, experts warn he should take steps to protect his assets or things escalate further. Still close to the family say Janice, who raised Diddy and his sister alone after their father died in 1972, isn't someone who backs down easily. They say she's tough and determined, and she won't let anyone push her aside when it comes to the fortune her son built. Jaguar Wright, however, has claimed that Janice Combs isn't actually Diddy's biological mother at all.
Cassie left Diddy and became an independent, entity. Did you reach out to Cassie to get a hook on one of your songs?
No.
Was there a bidding war over Cassie after she left Bad Boy?
No.
Because Cassie is not talented as a singer. She isn't. She had one song that her boyfriend wrote for her, and that was it. And I know the guy who was the head of marketing at Bad Boy during the whole time Cassie was there. And he said, and this is my friend, he said every time, because Diddy would have her in the studio all the time. Songs with Kid Cudi, who she ended up f***ing with afterwards. Songs with Ghostface Killer. All types of collabs. Those are not free. Think Kid Cudi's just doing a verse for Cassie for free? That's probably $200,000. Every song.
Put a press down,
listen. I just want to say this. Every time Cassie would go to the studio and put together a song, they pushed those songs just as hard as every other artist on Bad Boy. The people just didn't take to them. She was a pretty face that was fucking the boss.
And got to living with her mama, with her boyfriend.
Right.
Couldn't f*** in that house. You can't f*** at your mama house. You cannot. That's it. You at your Lord. I done f*** at my mama house. You cannot fuck. You cannot. Like, you be like, man, you be like real like, I ain't breaking no bread. I ain't trying to go too hard at my mama house. Like, that's your lowest. You gotta walk in that key. What you do when you wake up? You gotta walk. You gotta look out before you walk out. You can't walk out with your box. You don't want your hanging out. Real you at your lowest.
Yeah.
They was at their lowest and they devised a plan.
I agree.
Bro, they devised a plan. When you go to your mama with your man, you take, and you the man at the girl mama house. That's even worse. You not even at your mama house. Y'all at y'all worst.
If Jaguar's claim is true, that might explain why Janice is fighting hard for control. This may be her last opportunity to secure a large amount of money, especially at 85. Boozy has also accused Cassie and her husband of trying to do something similar to Diddy in the past.
Asking for any advice or anything like that, he'll answer you 100%, and he was always willing to help. Always willing to help. That's one thing I can say about him. I learned and got to love about him. He always gave you 100% of himself. He will set things to the side and make things his priority.
Like helping other inmates, you're saying?
Yes, helping other inmates.
Well, so that's another question. How did other inmates respond to him being there? I mean, was it divided? Was it some people were impressed, some people were starstruck, or, was it kind of like some people were angry?
At first, some people don't want to be groupies. They don't want to act like groupies. So they will try to act like, oh, that's Diddy, but we're not trying to be groupies. But as time went on, you got to understand, we all grew up analyzing Diddy. Like, he's from New York City. We're from New York. So we grew up hearing and seeing the icon, the legend, like the mogul. So now we're actually living with him. So now we're studying him and analyzing him in person. So, I feel like we all got to recognize with time was that he's human. And he's like one of us. He's one of us.
Meanwhile, Diddy has no choice but to sit back and watch everything unfold from behind bars. Inside prison, though, he seems to be doing what he can to adjust. One former cellmate said Diddy has become something of a leader at MDC. According to Castillo, once the celebrity shine wore off, he realized Diddy acted like any other inmate. He described him as humbled, respectful, and focused on personal growth. Castillo said he saw Diddy every day in their housing unit and eventually got to know him as just another person. He said Diddy didn't go around trying to socialize with everyone, but he was approachable.
You need to understand, this is something that has never been done in prison system ever. And especially in the federal system, it's about segregation. Black sticks with black, white sticks with white, Spanish sticks with Spanish, especially gang members. So Diddy was able to unify everybody, bring us together in one classroom. And we would sit there and listen and teach, and he will teach us these business ventures of his and everything, and sort of come up with our plans and our goals and really set it in order and how to go forward with it. He will always tell us successful people do what unsuccessful people won't do, and about sacrifices.
Wow.
He would show us that the work that he was doing on others was important for us to like follow, not only just follow his footsteps, but put things into our own perspective and things like that. Like, I could say in the program, he showed all of us how to have faith in ourselves and believe.
Castillo said Diddy eventually launched a business and leadership class inside the facility, something Castillo claims had never been done on that scale in federal prison. Castillo served as the teaching assistant and interpreter. He handed out homework, collected assignments, took notes, and helped new inmates get up to speed. The most surprising part, he said, was who showed up to those classes.
People is really dying in MDC Brooklyn. There's a war in there, there's violence, and there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of lost souls in there. People is hopeless, and you have people that's in there serving life. They have Sean Combs around murderers, people serving 30 years. So when you have things, when you facing those type of things, you have nothing to lose.
Right.
So it's very dangerous in there. It's very, very, very dangerous. I'm one of the lucky ones to say I made it out, because in there you could go in. I've seen brothers go in there and really lose their lives. Especially while Mr. Combs was in there, 2 people has lost their lives.
Right. I do remember reading
gang violence.
Yeah. Did he have a CO that was kind of near him? No, more than others, or not really?
Nah, he's a regular enemy just like everybody else.
Wow.
They might watch him. They might watch him just a little more at times, but he's just a regular inmate just like us. He's going through everything we're going through: the cold trays, the lockdowns, the police on the monitor us with the segregations. He is living what we're living. There is and there was no special treatment for Sean Diddy Combs. There's no favoritism for him in there at all.
He said the sessions focused on business plans, setting goals, discipline, mindset, and making better choices. Diddy often stressed that successful people do what unsuccessful won't, and he talked a lot about sacrifice and consistency. But Castillo also made one thing clear: MDC is extremely dangerous. He said people really do die inside MDC Brooklyn. So if Diddy was originally expected to receive a pardon, but is now being written up for drinking wine, making secret calls, and even getting attacked in prison, does that mean the guards and the system have stopped protecting him? Is this happening because insiders have already decided his sentence is going to be extended? Tell us what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit like and subscribe to stay updated. Turn on the bell so you never miss a new upload from Haley Report. And before you go, drop your thoughts in the comments. I always want to hear what you think. More big stories are on the way.